wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you don't do. Well, I'ma make hella sure that I don't become you. I have no regrets, yeah, I'll tie up my chest. I'll never forget what it's like to be in debt. Been stabbed in the back bed, I'll show you what happens. Pass me the mic and I'll show you with action. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you could never own. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you could never own. So fight and die for the things you know you love. Do what you think is right and see life do what you want. So fight and die for the things you know you love. Do what you think is right and see life do what you want. So give me all the scars, I'm a human being. Cover them with tattoos so you can't see. Knew it from the start, you had problems with me and the things I could be, I just wish I had seen. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you can never own. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money.
Aquarius, yeah. How you doing? Rondi, how are you? My name is 12 Gauge, and this is 12 Gauge Investigative. You know that song's a little on the adult side, but I'm sure everybody can handle it. I don't wear a cowboy hat. I ride bulls. Yeah, yeah. Kind of like Aquarius, yeah, yeah. Anyways, if you haven't been over to Aquarius's channel, you need to check it out. She's been going live and she has been working hard to get those live streams pumping out in the morning, first thing in the morning. She's been working hard over there on her channel. So y'all need to go check her out early in the morning. She got some good stuff over there. Y'all go check out Aquarius. There's my boy Jeff H. Y'all haven't been over there to check out his channel, you might go try his channel out. He has a lot of videography and a lot of sound stuff over there. He is one of the first ones that I saw clean up the 911 call, and it is quite distinctive. So y'all go check that out. Y'all go check that out. You're welcome. Sirius Black, how are you? Bianca, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. I just wanted to get on here for a little bit because I'm too hyper to go to bed and I'm too hyper to just not do anything. Had a good workout, had a good Tuesday. I want to talk about some stuff too I got on my mind, and it has nothing to do with YouTube. It has to do with real world stuff. Because I know how y'all like, some real world stuff. Because it's always nice to hear about the creator and what their world is like. I like to know about the creators I listen to. Jeff, I saw you up on a panel earlier today. You're quite the superstar over there. I'd invite you up here, but I ain't talking Idaho, so I don't know if you'd be okay with just shooting the breeze with me. If you are, then I will send you the link. But I really don't want to talk Idaho. I want to talk just generalized banter, if you're cool with that. One thing that has been on my mind is, and I by no means am talking about my own relationship. I'm talking about other people's relationships. Whether it be friendships, whether it be relationship that you have with your employers, whether it be just relationships you have with people in chats in general. We are all sociable people. I just wonder where we got away from being friendly. Like, where did that happen? I think 2020 kind of isolated us, from a lot of natural tendency to communicate, to be able to form, to keep our families intact, to do these type of things. And I see a lot of times on YouTube that it shows this struggle. The struggle is there. I'm not going to get on here and I'm not going to discuss other channels if that's what you're waiting to hear, because I don't want to do that tonight. But chat etiquette is a thing. Chat etiquette is a thing. One thing that infuriates me like no other is people that lurk and think that they know my channel just by lurking. Most of these people have never came into the chat, never even bothered to say hello to anybody in the chat, never even say hello to me. But they see me in another chat, and then instantly they calling me names. They're knowing all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean? And I'm like, how do you know anything about me? Have you checked out my channel? I've never seen you over there. But chat etiquette is a thing. I mean, it is something that drives me crazy, because I enjoy going in other people's lives. I really do. I can't lie. I am a spectator myself. I enjoy going into some people's channels, and not only to listen to see what I can learn, but to see different perspectives of people's opinions. And I always enjoy that. But it's no fun whenever you go somewhere and you get treated like a piece of trash. You know what I mean? Yeah, it is rude. It's okay. I'm all right. I lived through it. I'm able to take up for myself. I'm not one to go without saying my piece, But thank you for that. But I know that some of the individuals that watch on the sidelines, y'all have experienced that too. I've heard it. I've seen some of the people that come and chat in here, and they'll go to another chat. I might not be chatting, but they ask a question or whatever, and they get ignored, or they just, it is what it is, I mean, I can't control other creators' chats, but I'm like, man, these people are trying to interact. Why aren't you interacting with them? I bet they do, Jeff. They always treat you wonderfully. That's awesome that they do. Well, thank you for that, Sirius. I mean, I am one of those people that I'm going to speak up for myself. I'm going to speak up for myself, and if it offends people, I'm going to treat them like they treat me. If they're being rude to me, I'm going to be rude right back. But that's not my point. My point is I wonder where we all got away from coexisting as human beings with integrity, honesty, and the ability to be able to see both sides of the coin and not necessarily have to pick a side in order to be safe in this society. That's a wonderful way to do it, Bianca. You kill them with kindness. You can't go wrong with that. You can't go wrong with that. I hate when I chat and I get ignored. It makes you feel like you're not worthy enough to be in the chat, right, Aquarius? It's like, do I have to be a regular? Do I have to give money? What is it? What do I got to do in order to be seen? So it's an interesting dynamic. I mean, kindness sometimes doesn't work. You know, I see how people go after you, Jeff, and you are kind to an extent, but you also take up for yourself more than I used to see you take up for yourself. And sometimes you can't get angry when somebody comes at you when you're giving them the most. Money always works. Yeah, but I'm not gonna give money so that I can be heard. I mean, come on. But anyways, I want to talk about other kind of relationship that we have in life. Relationships we have with our friends, relationships we have with our families, relationship that we have with our significant others. I am very thankful to be with a woman that really understands me and she gets me. And when I'm cranky, she understands it and she makes me laugh. She gets me out of that funk, and I do the same for her. And we hold each other accountable to an extent without being rude or controlling. Because in the end, we are individuals. We are not clones of each other, and we are not so attached at the hip that, we don't live our own lives. This is the first adult relationship I can say I've ever been in. And that says a lot because I've been in a lot of relationships, but most of them have not been adult ones. Let me turn that strobe light off. It's blinding me. Sorry about that, guys. You know, let's try not to say that name in here. Let's just say the other side because they can call us what they want, but we don't have to stoop down to their level by calling them names back. Let's call them something else. Hamburgers, whatever. I get it though. You guys there were other people that I liked who were pro burgers, and I ultimately ran off because of my beliefs of the case hurt to be treated like that. Of course it does. Those hamburgers sometimes are difficult to digest, because you can't argue something that doesn't make sense only to the person who's presenting it to you. You know what I mean? Like, if I tried to convince you that the sky was purple and I gave you every reasoning why I believe the sky was purple, to an extent, if I got angry when you disagreed and I started turning on you, that would be gaslighting. That would be gaslighting you. Those statements go like this: well, I can't believe that you don't see that the sky is purple. Everybody else that I talk to sees that the sky is purple. Why can't you see it? What's wrong with you? You make me have this conversation with you every time you're around. That's a gaslighting statement. You know what I mean? And it's interesting whenever those gaslighting things occur, and it makes you feel less than a person because you feel like we should all have the ability to be seen. We should all have the ability to be heard. Am I seeing what I think I'm seeing? This is the first time I've ever seen you in my chat, Dago. Well, welcome to the chat. I'm going to tell you, welcome, Dago. Thank you for stopping in, Dago. I was just talking about, chat etiquette is a thing. And hopefully, as us creators, we're trying to change the culture of the chats because I know as a creator, I've never liked people going after each other in the chat. And I've never enjoyed them calling each other names in the chat and stuff like that. I think it's, there's other ways to communicate. But as I was saying, when we have a relationship with somebody, we have to understand that they're going to have good days and they're going to have bad days. We can't hold people to a standard every day that we don't hold ourselves to. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't expect you to be friendly just because I'm friendly. You know what I mean? I can't expect you to be honest just because I'm honest. I can't expect you to be a carbon copy just because we get along. You know what I mean? It doesn't work that way. And whenever you expect those things from other people, you're setting yourself up for failure. They're called unrealistic expectations. Like you have an unrealistic expectation that you wake up and today's going to be a good day. You're feeling good. You're moving good. And then all of a sudden you stick your toast in the toaster and it burns it. Unrealistically, you've already set yourself up because when that burns your toast, most people are going to get upset and they're going to change their mood according to what just happened. How not to have that happen is to just tell yourself, you know what, I'm going to live in the moment as it happens, as it occurs, you know? Hey, Dago, you want to come up here? I know I've asked you a million times. You want to come up on panel? Let me send a link. We can just have a chat. Not necessarily about anything important. I just want to hear your views on what I'm talking about. There's the link if you'd like to come up. You don't have to get on camera because I'm not going to get on camera. I made the mistake the other day of getting on camera without a shirt on. You know, burnt toast is okay, I guess, if you have butter on it and it. I don't know. I can't do burnt toast. Anybody else like burnt toast? I mean, I'm talking about charbroiled burnt toast. I'm not talking about, that kind of burnt. Yeah, I mean, but when we have unrealistic expectations about people, places, and things, it causes us a huge letdown and it makes people stressed out and uncomfortable most of the time because we're placing those expectations on those people that we fail to meet sometimes. Like I've shared with you guys a long time ago that I was a perfectionist in a lot of areas. And I would hold people to a standard that I myself couldn't even acclaim. And by doing that, it would cause a lot of problems. It would cause a lot of problems. It was kind of cool to see that tattoo of Sergeant Friday. You know I don't have a tattoo of Sergeant Friday. Stop it. Stop it. So are you going to come up, Jeff? I invited Dago. I guess he took off. I'm just talking right now. I'm just really just talking about anything and everything. I know you're probably working. Aquarius, you want to come up? Give you some practice to talk with somebody on panel. Here's the link. Come on up. Because I can tell you that whenever you have those unrealistic expectations of people, places, and things, it's downhill. It's downhill from there. Oh, there he is. Maybe Aquarius will come up too. Hey, Jeff, how's it going, buddy?
Hey. How's my volume? I messed with my
It's
volume.
kind of
Is it?
low. It's kind
It's
of
low.
low.
Hold
Yeah.
up. Check.
Right there is good.
Check.
Right there is good.
I think I can also boost it on in Streamyard a bit. Yeah, I was working. I think I'm gonna take it. Stop for the night though. So
Yeah.
I got a good bit done.
There's Nanook.
Yeah. All right, Nanook, we'll go outside in just a second. Okay, just a second. He's like,
Well, Jeff, I have
to say hi.
You remember when we did that show at the very beginning where we were talking about relationships and I was talking about cheating and all this other stuff. That long show we did to 3 people. Remember that night?
House
So
was
I have a
house was
question. I
packed.
have a question for you. You're
Uh-huh.
married, right?
Yep.
So
Last I
let
checked.
for the moment, right? For the
Yeah.
moment. Let's say that you have a substantial amount of money in your bank account and you see some guitars that you've always wanted.
This is clearly a make believe story because I'm so far from that.
Okay, but
Right, but I got
stay
you. I
with
got you.
me here. Stay with me here.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
And you go and buy the Frankenstein and you go buy the Axe and all these guitars that are kind of old school, the Les Pauls, whatever. And it's money that's just sitting there for tough times. Or your wife wants to buy new furniture, new kitchen stuff, whatever. Okay,
Hmm.
and then she realizes that you went in and dipped into the money without asking her. I don't know how y'all do finances, but what kind of problem would that cause in your marriage? Would it instantly become a stressful situation? Would you guys let your feelings like get involved really quickly, or are y'all able to talk things out?
Yeah, when it comes to money situations, that can be a stressor for sure. Um, I think generally, if it's a small purchase things, it's like you don't report to the boss, or I don't have
Right,
to report to the boss so much. But you know, I'm not gonna go out and get a couple $1,000 anything without talking about it first. Um, but especially now with times are a little tight right now, and it's kind of amazing how sometimes when you have less, you you can be a little more accepting. And
right,
I almost wonder if the arguing about money is less because it's like there's there's not much to argue about, and it's
right,
really and the last thing either of us are going to do when you've got little is to just drop it all onto. I paid a portion of a payment on my truck. I'm right near the edge of being just like about a less than a month, a little bit late. Um, but I threw $40 towards it just so that they know I'm still alive and throwing a little bit at it.
right.
But I don't know. I don't know. I think I really you always hear me talking about soft answer turns away wrath. I
Exactly.
love that. I love that Bible verse. I don't always follow it, and it seems like the times that I don't follow it the most is when me and my wife get into an argument, about something, and it's just I don't know. It's just it's funny that the arguments are different, I guess, because they get a little heated, and
Right.
I'm not just really describing it the right way, but
You're doing well. You're doing well.
I think when it comes to your family members, especially with a spouse, I'm just speaking for myself, but you really feel like there's sometimes you can just say whatever you want. Not necessarily me, and I don't want to make my wife sound like but she's um, speaks freely,
Right.
and the thing is that I think it's okay. It's not like I sit there and just fall down on the ground, fold, and just don't say anything back. But I tell you what, if I think I can see basically if you give back the same power level that's given back to you, it can just explode. And I guess that's the times where I'm finding myself saying, soft answer turns away wrath. Why am I remembering it now at the end of the argument when things are ugly and now we've got to figure out how to get out of this mess? Why can't I keep that in my mind at the front? Sometimes I do, but a lot of times I don't. and I just feel you just feel like you have to. And who knows, maybe that's the part of me that comes out in some of these chats that maybe irritate some people. The little, I know I can be a little snarky sometimes, but I try not to be snarky right off the bat. I pose a question, and
Right. I
then
understand.
after about the fifth comment about they don't go so far as to say anything bad about my mother or anything, but damn, they can be pretty ruthless sometimes. So
But you made a good point there when you said that, that soft answer. And when you get to that point, whenever you're discussing with the same vigor as the other person, I mean, it does come back the same way. It's almost like fighting for control of the conversation.
right,
Like I see that a lot of times in chats. I see that in lives. I've seen it in my channel. I've seen it in other people's channels. I just don't understand it. I guess I don't understand it, and that's something that I don't get. Like I said earlier in another chat, I said, "Look, I didn't come in here to argue. I didn't come in here to fight. I just came
right.
in here to talk like everybody else is." But you get attacked and you get called names and all that. I mean,
Yeah, maybe it's the perceived chat etiquette of the day. I don't think it's
yeah,
supposed to be that way, but I think that's what a lot of people think. When somebody comes into your chat room. I mean, I don't think you've ever had your chat room ever set up that way. Nobody would expect that, but I think there are a lot of chat rooms where I think most people in the chat, it's like they're on the lookout. It's like, hey, who's this guy coming in? Whoa, he's saying
yeah.
something opposite of what we believe. Get him. you know.
I mean, sometimes it does feel like that, but I mean, I'm big enough to handle myself. And the chat that I'm talking about, I'm not bad mouthing it because the mods instantly started deleting those comments that were rude, and I appreciated that.
Right.
That's how it should be. If you're rude about somebody else, they should be deleted. They were warning the people, hey, be respectful, and the people were still not following the directive. I mean,
Right. The thing I hate is when you go into a chat room and it's the mods that are poking you and they're poking you and saying things to you to try and get you upset about something. And then when you open your mouth to say something in response to them, then they say, "Oh, did you see what he said? You're blocked." It's like, whoa, how did I fall for that? How did I fall for the old poke the bear and then use that as a reason to block me? It's like,
well, how do you know if you're blocked? I don't know if I've ever been blocked. I mean, how do you know?
well, I
You've
mean,
obviously been blocked.
yeah, a few times. I mean, the
Yeah.
two ways that I know, if you start the process of sending a super chat to them and it says unable to send, boom,
Hmm.
that's usually an indicator that you've been blocked.
Okay.
If you have 10 accounts like I do, you can just open up a separate browser window in the other account. And then when you leave a comment in
Hmm.
the first account that you're in, if you don't see it pop up in the browser on your other account that you've opened up, then you know that they blocked you.
Okay.
So, but usually the super chat method, you just go to the point where I don't, it's like, what I do? I hit click super chat, I type the word test, and then I hit, whatever the next button is. Let me see what is. So I hit the dollar sign, I hit super chat, I type the word test, I leave it at $20, I hit buy and send, and like on yours, there it says complete your purchase, right? If I wanted to send $20, but I ain't about to
Right.
send you. Maybe another day. Today's not a good day. But if you were blocked, it would say unable to send a message. I believe is what it says. So
Andy says, "Who's been blocked at more channels, me or Jeff?" LOL.
all right, Nookie. All right, hold on.
I mean, I get when you intentionally go into a chat and you want to start crap. I mean, but you should be discernment. You should use discernment enough to know. Like today, I was just joking around with the mod or with the panel, and I finally just let them know, hey, I'm just joking around with you guys. I'm not really. Y'all know where I stand on this. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? But I don't understand the hypervigilance about the name calling and all that. I just don't get all that. Like, what does that accomplish? You being an adult calling another adult a name.
I think it also taps into like something maybe from our childhood. Like I don't know if there's well, I don't know that all of us were ever bullies. If we were, maybe we might have been bullies as a retaliation because we've been bullied so much. But sometimes it does feel like the little pokes are just to try and get a rise out of you.
Right.
Because I don't think I ever go into like somebody's chat and just like right out of the gate say something really rude and like y'all are stupid or I can't believe you believe what you believe. I never do that. I'll go in and I'll listen to what they're talking about and I'll ask a question. It's like, God forbid you go in there and you say, is there any possibility that Dylan and Bethany thought they were being pranked, around the 4 a.m. hour? Maybe it was kind of a thing in the house if you find yourself on a weekend, because we do it on weekends, maybe. This is just all like speculation. But they say when you try to get in touch with everybody and they're not responding to you, you know that you've been the target because you don't know what they're going to do. They're not responding. You don't know what they've got planned. I mean, I could be 100% off, but
let me ask you a question because I've had people do that in my chat. They came in not even talking about that area at that point.
I can still hear you, but I'm going to walk upstairs to just let Nanook out for a bit.
Yeah, I was going to say, Nanook got to go, bro.
He's crying.
Like I've had people in the very beginning, come into chat and they drop a bomb, so to speak, and oh, hi, tell her hi back, Bullets. Good to see you. Hey, Leslie and Billy, good to see you. Let me read up what you said. My 7-year-old just walked in and said 12 shouldn't be bullied. Oh, tell her thank you. 12's good. 12's good. Jeff's good. We're just having a conversation about nothing and everything. Kind of like a Seinfeld episode. They came out later on and said that show it had so many seasons, but it was literally about nothing. Any of y'all like Seinfeld? Do any of y'all enjoy Seinfeld? I like the Soup Nazi myself. The Soup Nazi was my favorite. No soup for you. And then Jerry tries to go in there and get soup with somebody else, and Kramer is able to get the soup, and then the Soup Nazi realizes that Jerry's with him, and he banned Jerry again. No soup for you. That episode,
that is one of the best Seinfelds.
That episode, I just crack up. But I was just saying that show was about nothing, but we always tuned in to watch it, especially those that enjoyed it. You know what I mean?
I like when they they couldn't find the car in the parking garage. That's one of my, and Kramer is carrying that big box that's, I guess, what is it, supposed to have an air conditioner in it or something?
Yeah.
I think, it's funny. It's the shows are kind of simple, but they are kind of, there's like themes that are with each of the characters in each show that are intertwined with each other that I think you kind of put together by the end. It's like, oh, that's pretty clever. They're experiencing different things, but it's kind of interrelated. I can't think of any examples, but I know when I'm watching it, I'm like, man, that is brilliant. That is just some brilliant writing.
How about the one with the toothbrush?
Oh, we dropped in the toilet or something?
Yes, he dropped her toothbrush in the toilet. And then she's brushing her teeth with it, and he knows he dropped it. And then she wants to kiss him, and he's like, no. And how about the one where she has man hands?
Yep. And we
Hi, Bailey. How are you? Hi, Bailey. How are you? Thank you so much for that. Thank you for your support. That means so much to me. Thank you. That is so awesome. Bailey, I hope you're feeling better and I hope that you're having a good night, you and your mommy and your family. Thank you so much, Bullet. Jeff, the one with the man hand, do you remember that one? I can't even show any of these because, I'll get I'll get copyrighted, but
Right,
if
right.
there's any Seinfeld fans in here, you know what I'm talking about. She has man hands. Okay, here we go. I'll send you the link. Bailey's gonna come up and talk to us.
Now, who's Bailey?
She's Bullet's 7-year-old daughter.
Oh, okay. Okay, awesome.
There's the link right there. I'm trying to think of some other funny ones. I mean,
There was
Kramer.
there was a one where George was curious what people said about him when he wasn't around, so he left a tape recorder in a suitcase recording, and then he accidentally, pretended like he accidentally left his briefcase there.
Wow. Did they ever talk about him, or was he just?
Yeah, I think they found the tape recorder, and that's what he heard on the tape. The process of them finding the tape recorder, maybe. I can't
Oh,
remember. I can't remember.
oh, okay.
The and then there's the one where
Hi,
um
Bailey.
Say hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Thank you so much for that super chat. That means a lot.
Say you're welcome.
You're welcome.
Tell them what you wanted to say. Well,
Are
she
you,
just wanted to say that you know what, I had typed in there and I told her, well, maybe he'll let you come up and say hi. So that was her big treat.
yes, yes. Is she feeling better? Are you feeling better, Bailey?
Bailey.
I guess they went away. StreamYard is a weird animal. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
See what Leslie typed?
Serenity
That's a
now.
great one. Serenity now. Yeah, I can sit there and watch Seinfeld just nonstop, just one right after the other. It's like eating a good bag of chips or something. It's like, you know,
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I kind of think about whenever we're on lives and stuff. Is sometimes my sense of humor is going crazy over here behind the mic when I'm reading stuff or when I'm talking about things and I'm like, man, I feel like I'm on a Seinfeld episode. Like I'm the narrator, watching these people overhead and I'm narrating what what they're thinking or what they're doing. I think
right? I
another
could,
another funny one is when Elaine does the dance.
yeah, yeah. How they describe it, it looks like somebody regurgitating.
Yes, yes. Oh my goodness, yes.
And how about
Leslie
the one?
says,
How about the one where George it takes over for Kramer and helps him park cars um, out in the street? And
remember when they went on vacation and the whole town was from their past friends?
the whole town was what?
Their past friends?
Oh, I don't know if I
I don't
remember that one.
remember that one, but I mean that show would just you didn't bother either one of us, Bullets. That was adorable. Thank you for that. Sometimes we need to hear innocence up here on this panel. We hear so much, negativity and gore.
Right. Maybe that's what we got to do. Whenever we go into like the other side's chats, we got to bring a 7-year-old with us. Say, hey,
Maybe.
my 7-year-old here is with me. How are y'all doing? And it's like, and then just watch how it, how differently it goes.
I'd be scared, man. I believe that they'd have no chill.
I think you're right. I think you're probably right.
The Wig Master, great episode. Aw, she made our day. She made our day.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was awesome.
Yes. You know, the Wig Master, I don't know that episode, but isn't it always funny that they had cereal? Jerry always had a box of cereal that Kramer would eat out of, you know?
Right, right.
You did
Yeah,
not
he was
hide
always
that
raiding their
picture. You're
fridge.
fine. You're fine. That was awesome.
Did you ever watch Kramer, the actor who plays Kramer on that old show Fridays? It was kind of like
No,
it was kind of like Mad TV, a little bit like more like Mad TV than Saturday Night Live, but he was hilarious on there. He played like an older kid playing with little army men and blowing
hmm
them up, and yeah, some of the characters he had were really funny on there. One
yeah.
one one on there is not too dissimilar from what he ended up doing as Kramer. Um,
Wasn't that series really based on like real life people? Like the writers
right,
or the directors or whatever, it was based on their real life stories or situations.
right. Larry David, I think, is kind of was he influenced? Was he the influence for the Kramer character? Although they had a name. No, they have a name. No, that's what it was. Larry David had a neighbor. His name might have been Kramer. Maybe he kept the name, but that's who
Yeah.
he based him off of.
They always met at that cafe. You remember their friend who had the ugly baby?
Oh yeah.
There's like, there's no such thing as an ugly baby. And then they're like, look at this. Oh my God. Oh my God. You got to see the baby. Oh my gosh, I do remember that. Hello, Kramer. Hello, Newman.
Newman. Yeah, yeah, that was great. That was great.
I mean, I watched that show when it first came out, and I thought, you know what? Why am I sitting here laughing? It's hilarious, but it's really about nothing. You know, like at the end of the show, you felt kind of cheated. Like, okay, when the big event gonna happen? You know what I mean?
Right, right.
Oh yeah, it was cold.
I just got out of the pool.
Yeah, it was cold. Yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah, I find myself on when I'm not watching true crime stuff on YouTube. I do watch a lot of Seinfeld on YouTube. I watch a lot of little Saturday Night Live sketches. I love SNL.
Yeah.
I really love those SNL sketches where the three that have been abducted by a UFO, and they're giving their testimonies to like whatever that government research organization is. And Kate McKinnon has always got the raw deal of her experience. The other two always have such a heavenly, euphoric experience, and she gets like those are great.
Well, I mean, based on our conversation,
Coneheads, yeah.
like Pulp Fiction and Brother Where Art Thou is some of your favorite movies.
Yeah. Yeah, those two right there are almost anything Quentin Tarantino. I love Quentin Tarantino
Yeah,
movies.
yeah,
Quentin Tarantino movies and Coen Brothers movies are, among my faves.
yeah. Coneheads, yeah, I remember the Coneheads.
You guys ever see Gattaca? You ever see that movie? I think that movie is kind of a interesting movie, especially considering the Idaho case, because it takes place in the future where your DNA defines you. It's wrapped up into everything. People don't have children the natural way anymore. They go to these clinics to basically get the the highest and best quality DNA out of their child, because you hardly use a resume to get a job. You use your DNA. Your DNA, they put you in a computer. If you've got the right numbers they're looking for, you're hired. You know.
No, I haven't seen that movie, but it sounds kind of creepy in so many ways.
Well, what's cool is that this one guy that was born the natural way, he's got inferior DNA, but he finds a guy who is wealthy and rich, but this wealthy rich guy with the pristine DNA, he got hit by a car and he's paralyzed from the waist down. So he's got the pristine DNA, but he's injured, and so therefore he's kind of lowered to the status of those with the lesser DNA. But he still has the DNA. It's still in him. He's got the blood. So the guy with the lesser DNA naturally basically hires him, lets him live in his house, and so the guy without the use of his legs fills up these blood packets every day and urine sample packets every day, so that the other guy, can go through the checkpoints at work, and he gets this job. Actually, he's working in the same place he was already working. He was a janitor, because that's as high as he could go with his DNA.
Right.
And then he gets he gets the better job with the DNA. He's basically impersonating the guy with the pristine DNA until there's a murder at the office. And then now they're investigating and they're checking everything. And he's already used to making sure not a single hair falls off onto his keyboard at work. He's vacuuming and everything. Now he's really got it's a great movie. It's a great movie, especially with,
might have to check that out.
Yeah. It's too bad you can't just get on YouTube like this right now and watch. Wouldn't it be cool if we could just put up a movie and not have a copyright strike? And
yeah, I thought that the other day, or just seeing the movies that you find funny,
Right.
Hey, can you play the banjo part from Deliverance?
Let me see. I think my guitar's tuned a little differently, but let's see. Wait, let me how's it go?
Yeah, that's it.
Wait, what key is that in? I think I'm playing in the wrong key. So the D. Man, I'm drawing a blank.
It's kind of yeah.
Does it sound okay over the mic?
Yeah, it sounds great.
How about this one?
All right, stop it right there.
Yeah, I don't want to go too long again.
Somebody in the chat, name what song that is. Let's play this game. Name that tune. Anybody want to pick a guess? What song was that?
You may play it again?
There's a stupid delay. Yeah, do it again. All right, we got a winner.
There you go.
Play another one.
Okay.
Okay. I know what that is. I know what that is, Jeff.
How about this one?
Hold on. Let him guess this one that you just did. Anybody know what that one was called?
I'm forgetting what it's actually called. Oh no, I remember now. I had to kind of sing it to get up to the chorus.
Never mentioned the word addiction.
Insert company. She tells you she's an orphan right after you meet her family. Sorry, B.
Okay, we don't see any guesses. It's She Talks to Angels by the Black Crowes.
Yeah.
That is a classic.
But
Okay, we have a guess. We have a guess in the chat. Is it Rhiannon? Rhiannon? How do you say that?
Reunion. Yeah, Rhiannon.
Rhiannon. Okay, we got a winner.
Let's see. But does that sound familiar at all? Then this part got a part that goes.
No clue.
It's another Fleetwood Mac song. I think I might not be playing it perfectly, but that's Gold Dust Woman.
Gold Dust Woman.
Okay. Did she make you cry? Make you break down? Shatter the illusion of love? And is it over now? Do you know how to pick up the pieces and go home?
Okay.
Something like that.
Can you do landslide?
It's much better with a female voice that can sing higher.
Can you do landslide?
No, I need to learn that one.
What's that other one called? Silver Spring?
Wait, we do 3 Fleetwood Mac songs in the band, and I don't know why I'm forgetting the third one. Oh, no, that was it. Rhiannon, Gold Dust Woman, and then... What's the third one? I can't remember. Something like that. That's a Led Zeppelin song.
Okay.
How about?
Don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you don't do. Well, I'ma make hella sure that I don't become you. I have no regrets, yeah, I'll tie up my chest. I'll never forget what it's like to be in debt. Been stabbed in the back bed, I'll show you what happened. let go, watch me turn this life into something that you could never own.
And
Wow, that's peaceful, Jeff. That is some peaceful stuff right there.
you know, it's so funny. That song is like nobody plays it because it's kind of, everybody jokes about it. You start playing it, hey, no stairway, kind of like Wayne's World.
Right,
But it's too bad because like I think few bands actually play it. I would love to. Maybe I'll talk to the band and say like we got to be the one band that isn't afraid to play Stairway because it's got that really cool little. It goes. It's got a nice little guitar solo. I just heard somebody saying that he did like 4 different solos for that, and then they decided on the one they went with. But I'd love to hear what the other 3 sound like. How about
Blackbird.
That's right.
Can you do Hotel California?
Let's see. I never really learned the proper picking, but I know it's. Wait, hold on. Let me cheat and look at the chords. I don't know why it should. I mean, it should be. It's something that should be really, actually simple.
Do you ever do Free Bird?
That's another one. The chords are very similar in that one, and they're basic chords, and I forget them.
You ever do Jim Croce or Wyman?
I love Jim Croce. I would love to know how to do Alice's Restaurant. No, that's Woody Guthrie. What is it? He's got that one about the race car driver.
How about that bad Leroy Brown?
Yeah. Wait, here's the chords for Hotel California. See.
I've never heard that song, Alice's Restaurant.
Yeah, you gotta set aside some time for it because it's 18 minutes long.
Good God. No need.
Yeah, but it's got that's a great little song too, considering true crime, because there's the scene in the song where he's in the courtroom, And the judge walks in with a CNI dog, and he says, "It was a case of CNI. It was a case of blind justice." Because it, and that's how he got away with it, because the prosecutor had all kinds of Polaroid photographs with circles and arrows and description on the back of each one, explaining what everyone was.
Right.
And here comes a judge with a CNI dog, and he said, "It's a case of blind justice," because that judge wasn't going to be looking at the color 8x10 photographs with the circles and the arrows and the paragraph on the back of each one.
Do you know any Keith Urban songs, Leslie says?
No, but we do play a country song by, what's his name?
Dwight Yoakam?
Dwight Yoakam. Suki.
So, if somebody wanted to start playing guitar, Jeff, what would be some simple suggestions that you would have for them? I mean, anybody in the chat. I mean, you and I have talked about it. I mean, but what advice could you give them?
Well, like, I mean, I've got an 11-year-old guitar student that I teach over StreamYard. And, we were learning just some basic chords, or I was teaching her some basic chords and some principles. And then I found out that she liked the song by Billie Eilish called Birds of a Feather. And so I think it's like a finger pick song, but I tried the finger picking, and I could tell, okay, it's a little too early for the finger picking, but maybe just the strumming, and then we just learned some principles.
So what that's
strumming. So it kind of goes, I'm going to butcher it, I know, but I know the chords are basically, it's got this cool repeating, that note going back and forth over all these chords, but it's like, something like that. Wait, Nando, sing it. So it's like it's a basic C chord with the. It's kind of cool too. You keep your pinky down on the first string, the high string. So you hear that note. It's consistent throughout all four chords. But when I first started playing guitar, but I thought I thought about showing her. Oh, I think I did show her a little bit, but I thought it'd be kind of boring for a kid nowadays. But I just learned to do this, So the low string is just continually open while the the other string is going. But I still play that kind of thing with guys I get together. We just kind of spice it up a little bit where we go.
Nanook approved.
So, just three chord blues.
Yeah, Nanook approved.
Yeah, he's singing the blues. But I try to teach too, like that, there are times where you can put your fingers down on the strings and make a chord. You learn one chord, and then I'm always telling her, like, just explore sometimes. See what happens if you take that same chord, you move the same fingering position up 2 frets. Oh, it still sounds good.
Right.
You can do it with a D chord. If I move it up 2 frets, if I move it up to a 3rd fret, then 2 more. So you just made a song without changing your finger shape at all. You just kind of moved it up and down the neck.
That's pretty cool because, when you're watching guitar videos on YouTube, a lot of times they go too fast. You can't really follow along. They're like, well, just hit this and just hit this and just strum this. And you're like, damn, you're going too fast. Can you kind of slow it down just a little bit? And,
Right.
I think that's not for everybody, but I mean, for myself, I can speak for myself. I've been doing that, like just practicing along with the little bit that you taught me and kind of venturing off,
Yeah, I really think it's you have to remember what it felt like when you were first learning everything as a guitarist, and now you're conveying it to somebody else. You want to bring them along with you, get them up to speed, and you really do just you try to teach them, and you say it one way, and you say, okay, that didn't land. I can tell they don't get the concept. Let me say it this way. And I know it drives a lot of people crazy. I love metaphors. I sometimes I can't speak about a subject without mentioning a metaphor that has to do with it. But sometimes metaphors are great for teaching guitar, because it's like I like say, it's like, well, take something that you do know and look at the similarity and what the thing I'm trying to teach you is. Let's see how similar it is. It's not that different. And then and you start connecting. The guitar neck itself is a lot like a neighborhood that you just moved into, right? When you first move in, you know where your house is. Maybe you learn where the nearest 7-Eleven is or McDonald's. And before you know it, you find yourself exploring a little more, and you come up down a street and you end up coming in behind the McDonald's. Like, oh, I didn't realize that street connected with the McDonald's. Now I get it. I'm seeing, you get a more clear picture of everything. So then when you start to play, you just kind of pick up. But still, like even right now, the nervousness and knowing you're playing where other people can hear you, my brain will go blank, and I feel like I have only the knowledge I had in high school when I was playing. That stuff is still fresh as it ever was. But
I mean, that's something to be said. Especially, I was watching these girls that were playing Nirvana and Guns N' Roses, and the lead singer was singing while she was strumming the guitar. And that's not very common, they say. It's difficult to strum and sing at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't know how difficult it is, but, I was looking at some of the comments and they were like, that's impressive. A lot of people cannot sing and strum. They were younger, probably, 15, 16 years old, and they were playing in the street for a group of people, and they were doing pretty darn good. I mean, isn't it interesting that you may not be able to speak the language that good, but when you start singing it, it sounds almost perfect.
Yeah, it's cool. Music, crosses over language barriers and all kinds of things. That's why I think it's too bad. Somebody suggested to Kohberger maybe boxing or whatever. If somebody who said, "Hey, why don't you try the guitar?" Kind of just makes me wonder if maybe you wouldn't end up, I mean, I think it's a great hobby, and there have been many times where I'm playing the guitar and I fall asleep and I wake up and the guitar's on me. It's like, wow, I actually put myself to sleep playing, playing the guitar. So.
I could see that. I could see how that would happen. I mean, you get into that, that kind of rhythm right there. You're just,
Yeah, that right there, over time.
Yeah.
Let me know, anybody in chat that falls asleep during this. Or, there was one time I was at the beach, and we were staying in this little hotel that overlooks Ocean City, Maryland, overlooks the beach. We were on the second floor, like balcony. I didn't realize there was a person under me on the first floor. I found out the next day. He's like, "Hey, was that you playing guitar?" He's like, "Man, you made my evening. I was sitting there just watching the ocean, listening to you play, and it's awesome." It's like, damn, I didn't. A part of me wanted to say, "I'm glad you didn't tell me you were there. I'd have been so nervous. I've been screwing up everything I was playing." But I remember I would sit there and play this thing in D. Just kind of strum that along, and it's it's so nice. We get the ocean sound of the ocean.
Yeah, exactly. And, you get that rhythm going, you get that guitar sound, and you just close your eyes and envision anything you want to envision.
Another cool thing is that I was always reluctant to take guitar lessons until I was like in my 50s. And that's why I started to learn like some music theory stuff. And like the basic way I can describe music theory is like, everybody knows the sound of this, right? It's do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, right? It's also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do ends with do and do. It ends with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which is the same as 1. 1 and 8 are the same. But if you apply numbers to them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you learn that each number has a note name. The first note is, like in this case, it's C, and then D, E, C, D, E. C is nice because it just uses... There's no sharps or flats. It's all just the alphabet letters C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So then you take those and you apply a chord to each one. Now you do have to memorize the pattern. 1 is a major chord. 2 and 3 are minor. 4 and 5 are major. 6 is minor. So if you can just count to 6 and you can remember those patterns, okay, 12, do this. Okay, I'll start on 1, the C, right?
Yeah.
And then just call out any number from 1 to 6.
4.
Okay, so here we go to 4 now.
2.
Okay, and here comes 2. And where do you want to go now? Huh?
5.
5. Now 5 is a great chord to go back to 1 on.
1, yeah.
It's got 5 inside of 5 is just the components that draw your ear back to the 1.
Yeah, I don't know why I said 1 after that, but that's true. That it's like 1 is like, okay, let's start it all over here. Pretty cool.
Yeah, and like if you think about the so I'm basically playing a 1, and then I go to the 5, and then the 4, and then back to the 1 with a little melody. And then 12 gauge says 2. I say, okay. How about 3? 2 and 3 are minor. 6 is minor. How about 6 too?
6. So
the minor chords are cool because they take you off on a it's a little more thought-provoking and maybe sad. Go to
So, Jeff,
5.
So Jeff, since you can play the guitar, can you play other instruments like the cello or violin or anything like that?
I've never really tried too much. I mean, I picked up a violin. Violin's rough, just you have to kind of know the way that bow, how much pressure to use with the bow. I tend to make it just sounds like a bunch of screeching. Isn't too far from like
a bunch of
fingernails on the
cats.
chalkboard.
A bunch of cats in the alley.
Right. Now my daughter was very good with violin. Hopefully she'll pick it up again, but she kind of stopped playing. But she was getting very good. Although she had a teacher that I think was frustrated because I think he could see her potential, but didn't see her, putting the effort or the time, into it. So
sometimes it's natural like that, and you forget that you got to practice. Like to me, I'd have to practice all day long in order to get half of what you're doing right there. If that.
That's a great idea Leslie has. I've been thinking about something like that. I would love to do some instructional videos for guitar on YouTube. Because I mean, so much of what I know came from YouTube. When I started studying music theory, that instructor helped me to understand the language. So then when I went to these YouTube videos and they're talking about these things, I could understand what they're talking about. And it's like, oh, okay, it totally makes sense now to me. I get it.
That would be awesome, Jeff. I mean, that could be something that you help people with, something that you love, something that's your passion.
That one Fleetwood Mac song, it's got a rough, with your thumb, you're doing a... Wait. See, I still can't do it. I'm still working on it. But oh wait, no, it's an A actually. Wait. There's a video I was watching, and it's like, how did he do that? How did he play that? It's like two people, two brains are having to do that at the same time. But most people, when they play that song, they just kind of. Or see what I did there? I did the double notes on the higher notes instead of the low note where it was supposed to be, because the brain is like, I'm doing low notes and high notes at the same time, and the brain is like, what are you doing to me? What are you doing? Or how about there was an Ozzy Osbourne song, and I'm probably going to butcher it. Let's see if it comes back to me. Did learn right there. You know that one? Does it sound familiar? And then it goes. Wait.
Not really.
Something like that.
No.
It's Diary
It
of a
sounds pretty
Madman.
cool to have like as an intro song, though.
Oh yeah, that'd be good for the 12 gauge. Wait, can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Yeah, I haven't said that. I haven't said that in a while.
You need to get you a bigger shovel.
Lindsey Buckingham.
How about no,
Can you
forget
do
it.
any
This was-
Christian songs? Like any worship songs? Mercy Me.
Man,
Captain
you think I would know? No, I mostly just listen to them, maybe sing along, but
Yeah.
I don't really
Know any Van Halen songs?
let's see. So that's ain't talking about love.
Yeah, yeah.
About
Half the people. I got my pencil.
give me something to write on.
Yeah.
That was a little piece of something. We got man, I've got practice next Monday. I better brush up. I'm forgetting some of the songs I should know right off.
Do you do guitar solos, Jeff?
Yeah,
Like
that's
when
what this is. This is from Heart. You know that he's a the Magic Man. Let's see. Wait, it's hard to do on an acoustic. But then it's got this really cool little part that goes. And then G. But it's got that little mellow part too. It goes. And then it goes. With an electric guitar, it's easier to bend the strings. These strings are much heavier, so it's hard to
Right,
do that.
right.
And it goes.
Do you know any Jeff Beck?
Any what?
Jeff Beck?
Oh. You know, I used to play the bass on a Jeff Beck song. But that's all I kind of remember. But I know it had a little intro that was like. Is that the right key? Yeah, you know, I don't know if I'm just lazy, or if it's just that I prefer to learn and spend time learning how the instrument works, how the chords work with other chords, the theory. And I don't spend as much time like learning a song, beginning to end. This new band that I'm in is forcing me to do that.
Yeah.
Like we have, that song, Hot Child in the City?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see, it's got a. So I think the bass is going like that.
Yeah.
And then I've got a little part that goes, dang, I'm forgetting it. Man, I'm getting old, 12.
You better get on it, man. You better start practicing a little bit.
Once it starts, like I was playing in this band in Richmond, and they used to give me a hard time. It's like, okay, we're gonna do. I'm even drawing blank on the song titles. They'd say the song title, and I'd be like, okay, I know I played that one before. And that's like, you really don't remember what it is? Like no. And then it's like, okay, I know it now. They strum 1-2 chords. It's like, I got it. I remember it.
Right. I mean, it's interesting how you've displayed this tonight. It's just so second nature to you, and that's impressive, man. I mean, we have
Thank
some
you.
other creators that play guitar as well. I don't know if they've ever played it on their channels or not, but it's interesting to hear the guitar being played. I love acoustic music. I used to go to jazz bars and stuff like that and listen to acoustic sounds and the jazz.
I always thought those were kind of jazzy sounding chords.
You want to play something on the way out, Jeff? Let's kind of wind it down.
Oh, Leslie said Santana. We are learning, or I did learn. I sat down with the tutorial and learned Black Magic Woman.
Yeah.
But I'm still working on it. But I know it's a. I always think of the other song Oye Como Va, and I get them mixed up. But it's the one that goes. A little bit of that.
Tomorrow I'll have like 20 copyrights on my email. I'll be like, you cannot play this song. Okay, let's replace it with something else. Wow.
Yeah, I should tune the guitar a little flat so it doesn't trigger any of those.
Yeah.
I'm staying away from Dust in the Wind because that's the one that got you messed up, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the last time.
You want me to play it fast? I can play it faster than maybe, and they wouldn't. No, we better not mess with
YouTube. YouTube pretty slick, man. You want to play us out? Like, pick a random guitar solo for the folks.
How about
cue that music?
How about this? Do you know this Neil Young song? Now let me get you a better song. How about this old one? See if you can name this one. Sound familiar at all? Actually, that band was known more for shoot. It's amazing that the same chords will be in like 100 different songs. It's just how you play them, the speed, the tempo, where you change it, How's the song More Than Words go?
Yeah, I like that.
Do you know what's the first line of More Than Words?
Man, I got so many songs in my head right now, I can't even think of it. Like, saying I love you so much, I have to say. It's hard.
Yeah, say it. Oh, next time we do something like this, I'll be a little more prepared with some stuff. It's in my brain. It's just not.
Right. I
It's not
appreciate you
being-
doing this, man. I appreciate you doing this. Well, folks, it's getting late over here. Tomorrow is Wednesday, halfway through the week. I hope you guys are having a wonderful week. And we have Jeff H. up on the panel, serenading us on out. Y'all be safe. You have a wonderful night. And I'll see you again soon.